Single black dad meets first love at parent night. She's a billionaire CEO. Love rekindles. Quentin Hayes adjusted his tie for the third time, standing outside Roosevelt Elementary's gymnasium. At 35, he'd faced down armed suspects as a detective, but parent-teacher night at his daughter's new school had him nervous. It wasn't just any school. It was Pemberton Academy, the most exclusive private elementary in Seattle, and Zara had gotten in on a full scholarship. "Daddy, you're doing it again," 8-year-old Zara said, reaching up to stop his fidgeting. "Doing what, baby girl?" "That thing where you mess with your tie when you're nervous. Mrs. Chen says I'm the smartest kid in class. They're not going to kick me out." Quentin smiled at his daughter, his whole world since her mother had died in a car accident 5 years ago. Zara had his deep brown eyes, but her mother's determination and frightening intelligence. "I'm not nervous. Detectives don't get nervous." "Uh-huh." Zara took his hand. "Come on, Dad. We're going to be late." They entered the gymnasium, which looked more like a country club than any school Quentin had attended growing up in South Chicago. Parents in designer suits mingled, discussing vacation homes and stock portfolios. He caught the usual looks, the only black father in a sea of white faces, clearly not belonging to their tax bracket despite his clean-cut appearance. "Mr. Hayes, Zara." Mrs. Chen, Zara's teacher, approached with a warm smile. "I'm so glad you could make it." "Wouldn't miss it," Quentin replied, grateful for her genuine friendliness. "Zara, why don't you show your dad your science project? It's truly exceptional." As Zara dragged him toward the display tables, Quentin heard a laugh that stopped him cold. That laugh, bright, musical, with a slight hiccup at the end. He hadn't heard it in 17 years, but he'd never forgotten it. He turned slowly, and there she was, Felicity Pemberton, though she was Felicity Morgan when he'd known her. The girl who'd been his everything during their senior year at University of Washington. The girl who'd chosen Harvard Business School over their plans for a simple life together. The girl who'd shattered his heart so completely he'd sworn off love until Keisha had slowly, patiently put him back together. She stood across the room in a cream-colored suit that probably cost more than his monthly salary. Her blonde hair now cut in a sophisticated bob instead of the long waves he used to run his fingers through. She was surrounded by other parents, clearly holding court, gesturing as she spoke about something that had everyone hanging on her every word. Then she turned, as if feeling his gaze, and their eyes met. Time stopped. The recognition was instant and electric. Her perfect composure cracked, her lips parting in shock. The wine glass in her hand trembled slightly. "Daddy, come on." Zara tugged at his hand. "My project's over here." But Felicity was already walking toward them, leaving her admirers mid-conversation. "Quentin?" Her voice was exactly the same. Honey and whiskey, as he'd once told her. "Hello, Felicity. I can't believe... What are you doing here?" "Parent night. This is my daughter, Zara." Felicity looked down at Zara, and something soft crossed her face. "Your daughter. She's beautiful." "Thank you, ma'am," Zara said politely, then looked between them. "Do you know my dad?" "We went to college together," Felicity managed. "A long time ago," Quentin added, his voice carefully neutral. 17 years, Felicity said softly, her eyes never leaving his face. "You became a cop, like you always said you would. Detective now. You became..." He gestured at her expensive suit, the Cartier watch, the aura of power that surrounded her. "Everything you planned to be. CEO of Pemberton Industries. My maiden name. I took it back after..." She trailed off, glancing at Zara. "After the divorce," a small voice piped up from behind Felicity. A boy, maybe 7, with Felicity's blonde hair and serious blue eyes. "Mom doesn't like to talk about it." "Maxwell," Felicity said gently. "This is Mr. Hayes and his daughter." "Zara," his daughter supplied brightly. "You're in Miss Patterson's class, right? 2nd grade?" "Yes," Maxwell replied shyly. "I'm in 3rd. Mrs. Chen's class. She says I'm advanced for my age." "Mom says I'm advanced too," Maxwell offered, warming slightly. Quentin and Felicity stood frozen, watching their children interact, the weight of 17 years pressing between them. "Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. Perhaps we should look at the children's projects, Felicity suggested, her CEO composure sliding back into place. They walked together, their kids running ahead to show off their work. The silence was deafening. I heard about Keisha, Felicity said suddenly. I'm so sorry. Quentin stiffened. How did you? I keep track of. I saw the obituary. Car accident. I wanted to reach out, but you were married to your investment banker husband, living your perfect life. Quentin, I'm sorry. That was unfair. No, it wasn't. She stopped walking, turning to face him. I deserve that. I deserve worse. It was 17 years ago, Felicity. We were kids. We were in love. The words escaped before she could stop them. At least I was. Don't. His voice was sharp. You don't get to rewrite history. You left. You chose Harvard, chose money, I chose wrong. Her voice was barely a whisper. Every single day for 17 years, I knew I chose wrong. Mom? Maxwell appeared, looking concerned. Are you okay? I'm fine, sweetheart. She composed herself instantly. Show me your project. As the kids presented their science projects, Zara's on bacterial growth, Maxwell's on robotics. Quentin couldn't stop stealing glances at Felicity. She was still beautiful, but it was a different beauty now. Polished, refined, untouchable. The girl who'd eaten pizza in his dorm room at 2 a.m., who danced barefoot in the rain, who'd promised him forever, that girl seemed gone. But then Maxwell struggled with his robot demonstration, and Quentin saw her bite her lip the exact same way she used to when nervous. Some things hadn't changed. Here, Zara said, helping Maxwell. The circuit's loose. My dad taught me. He fixes everything. Your dad sounds amazing, Felicity said, looking directly at Quentin. He is, Zara agreed matter-of-factly. He's a detective and he makes the best pancakes, and he reads to me every night even when he's tired from catching bad guys. My mom runs a huge company, Maxwell added, not to be outdone. She has her own jet and everything. But can she make pancakes? Zara asked. She can barely make cereal, Maxwell admitted, making both adults laugh despite the tension. Perhaps we should continue looking at projects, Quentin suggested, needing to escape Felicity's presence before he did something stupid like remember how perfectly she used to fit in his arms. They managed to avoid each other for the rest of the evening. But as Quentin was helping Zara with her coat, Felicity appeared. Could we talk, just for a minute? Zara, go wait by the car. I'll be right there. Is she your girlfriend, Daddy? Zara asked innocently. No, baby, just an old friend. After Zara skipped off, Felicity said, She's wonderful. You've done an amazing job. Had to. She's all I have. Quentin, She stopped, started again. Would you like to get coffee, to catch up? I know I have no right to ask, but why, Felicity? What's the point? Because I've thought about you every day. Because seeing you tonight, it's like 17 years just vanished. Because I need to apologize properly. You're Felicity Pemberton, Billionaire CEO. I'm a single dad detective who can barely afford this school even with Zara's scholarship. We live in different worlds. We always did. That didn't stop us before. It stopped you. You left for those different worlds. What if I was wrong? What if I spent 17 years in the wrong world? Quentin looked at her, really looked at her. Behind the polish and power, he saw something he recognized. Loneliness, regret, the same things he saw in his mirror every morning. Want coffee? He said. Saturday, 10 a.m., that place on Pine Street. The one where we had our first date. Yeah, it's still there. Unlike us, some things last. The words hurt her. He could see it in the way she flinched. Good. She'd hurt him worse. Saturday, she agreed. Thank you. As he walked to his car, Quentin wondered what he was doing. Felicity Pemberton had destroyed him once, but the way she'd looked at him tonight, the way she'd said his name. Daddy, why did that lady look so sad? Zara asked as he buckled her in. Sometimes adults make mistakes they can't fix, baby girl. But you always say there's no mistake that can't be fixed with enough trying. Out of the mouths of babes. Saturday morning, Quentin sat in Rosie's cafe, the same booth where they'd had their first date 18 years ago. The place had barely changed, still the worn red vinyl, still the ancient jukebox, still the best coffee in Seattle. Felicity walked in 5 minutes late, dressed down in jeans and a sweater, looking more like the girl he'd fallen for. Several heads turned. She was still stunning, but she only had eyes for him. "You came?" she said, sliding into the booth across from him. "Said I would. You always kept your word." She looked around. God, it's exactly the same. Rosie died 5 years ago. Her daughter runs it now. "You still come here?" "Sometimes, when I need to think." The waitress brought coffee without asking. Quentin was a regular. Felicity ordered the same. "So," Quentin said, "talk. Right to it, huh? We're not kids anymore, Felicity. Say what you need to say." She took a breath. "I'm sorry. I'm so deeply, completely sorry. I chose Harvard because I was scared. Scared of how much I loved you. Scared of being ordinary. Scared of my father's disapproval." "Your father?" "Right. The one who said his daughter would never marry what was his word? Don't say it. Please. He was a racist bastard, and I should have stood up to him. But you didn't." "No, I didn't. I was 21 and a coward. I told myself I was being practical, that love wasn't enough, that I needed to establish myself first." She laughed bitterly. "I established myself all right. Corner office, private jet, house in Medina, and I was miserable every single day. You got married to exactly who my father wanted. Bradley Thornton III, investment banker, old money, complete asshole. We had Maxwell, tried to make it work, but you can't build a life on a foundation of settling. When did you divorce?" 2 years ago. He cheated with his secretary. Cliché, right? I wasn't even hurt. I was relieved. And now? Now I'm a single mom running a billion-dollar company and realizing that nothing I've achieved means anything because I achieved it without you. Felicity, I know it's too late. I know you have a life, a daughter, probably someone. There's no one. Hasn't been since Keisha died. Why? Because losing the 2 women I've loved was enough for 1 lifetime. The words hung between them. 2? He'd said 2. You still... She couldn't finish. I never stopped. Tried to. God, I tried. Keisha knew. She once said she was competing with a ghost. Wasn't fair to her. She was beautiful. I saw the photos. The obituary. You looked me up? Every few months. Pathetic, right? The billionaire CEO cyberstalking her college boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend. Yeah. She stared at her coffee. Quentin, I know I have no right to ask, but what? You want to try again? Pick up where we left off? It's been 17 years, Felicity, and I've loved you for every one of them. Before Quentin could respond, his phone rang. Zara's school. Mr. Hayes, Zara's not feeling well. Could you pick her up? On my way. He stood. I have to go. Zara's sick. Let me drive you. Felicity, please, my car's outside. Her car turned out to be a Bentley with a driver. The ride to Pemberton Academy took 10 minutes, during which neither spoke. When they arrived, Zara was in the nurse's office, looking pale. Daddy? She brightened, seeing him, then noticed Felicity. The lady from parent night. Hello, Zara. Not feeling well? My tummy hurts. Probably something she ate? The nurse said. No fever. As Quentin signed Zara out, Maxwell appeared with a teacher. Mom, what are you doing here? Zara's sick. I gave her dad a ride. Is she okay? Maxwell looked genuinely concerned. Just a tummy ache, Zara said. I'll be fine. You could come to our house, Maxwell suggested. Mom has a theater room. We could watch movies. Maxwell, Felicity started. Please, Mom. I never have friends over. Quentin and Felicity exchanged glances. Just for a little while, Felicity said. If your dad agrees, Zara. Quentin wanted to say no. Going to Felicity's house was dangerous. But Zara's eyes lit up, and Maxwell looked so hopeful. Just for a bit, he agreed. The house in Medina was a mansion, all glass and stone and water views. Zara's eyes went wide. You live here? She whispered. It's too big, Maxwell said. It echoes. Your apartment is probably better. How do you know we live in an apartment? Everyone normal lives in apartments. Only lonely people live in houses this big. Felicity winced. Maxwell, it's true, Mom. You said so yourself. The kids disappeared into the theater room, leaving Quentin and Felicity alone in her cavernous living room. Lonely people, huh? Quentin said. He's too perceptive for 7. gets that from you. His kindness comes from me. The rest is all his own. They sat on opposite ends of a leather couch that probably cost more than Quentin's annual salary. This is weird, he said. Very. Your house is ridiculous. I know. I bought it to prove something. Now I'm not sure what. That you made the right choice leaving me? That I could be successful without you. Turns out success feels a lot like failure when you have no one to share it with. Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. The kids emerged 2 hours later, thick as thieves. Dad, Maxwell's never been to the Space Needle, Zara announced. Mom says it's a tourist trap, Maxwell explained. But it's amazing. Can we take him, please? That's up to his mother. Felicity looked at Maxwell's eager face. When? Tomorrow? Zara suggested. It's Sunday. Dad always takes me somewhere fun on Sundays. Please, Mom. And that's how Quentin found himself at the Space Needle on Sunday with his first love. Their 2 kids and 17 years of baggage. This is weird, Felicity said, as they watched the kids press their faces against the observation deck glass. You keep saying that. Because it keeps being true. She turned to him. But also, nice? Yeah, he admitted. Nice. The kids were getting along perfectly. Maxwell, shy and serious, bloomed under Zara's confident attention. Zara, who sometimes struggled with kids her own age because of her intelligence, found a kindred spirit in the quiet boy. They're good for each other, Felicity observed. Maxwell's a sweet kid. He's had a hard time. The divorce, changing schools, me working constantly. Sounds familiar. Single-parent guilt, it's universal. How do you do it? Work and raise her alone? Same way you do. One day at a time, praying I don't screw up too badly. You haven't. She's amazing. So's Maxwell. They watched their kids point at different buildings, Maxwell explaining the architecture while Zara added historical facts. We made nerdy kids. Felicity laughed. We? You know what I mean. We would have. If we don't. Why not? Why can't we talk about it? Because talking about what-ifs is pointless, Felicity. You made a choice. The wrong choice. Maybe, but you can't unmake it. What if I want to try? Before he could answer, Zara ran over. Dad, Maxwell's never had your pancakes. Can he come for breakfast tomorrow? It's a school day, baby girl. Before school? Please? You make extra anyway. Quentin looked at Felicity, who shrugged. I usually just give him cereal. The billionaire CEO can't make pancakes? The billionaire CEO can barely make coffee. That's what assistants are for. Mom! Maxwell protested. You said you'd learn. I tried. I burned water. Your dad banned me from the kitchen. That was the one thing he did right, Maxwell said, making everyone laugh. Fine, Quentin agreed. Breakfast tomorrow? 7 a.m. sharp. Quentin's apartment in Queen Anne was small but warm. 2 bedrooms, walls covered in Zara's artwork and photos. Felicity and Maxwell arrived at exactly 7 a.m. Maxwell in his school uniform, Felicity in another expensive suit. You dressed up for pancakes? Quentin asked, amused. I have a board meeting at 9. The CEO life. The single dad detective can judge all he wants while wearing Superman pajama pants. He looked down, mortified. I forgot. Zara was supposed to warn me. You look good. The words slipped out before she could stop them. I mean, Mom thinks Dad looks good, Zara announced, appearing in her school uniform. I think your dad looks silly, Maxwell corrected diplomatically. Superman's not silly, Zara protested, starting a heated debate about superheroes that lasted through breakfast. Quentin made his famous pancakes, light, fluffy with a secret ingredient, vanilla extract and a touch of cinnamon, that he'd perfected over years of Saturday mornings with Zara. These are incredible, Felicity moaned, then blushed at the sound. Mom never makes sounds like that about food, Maxwell observed. That's because Mom never eats food this good, she replied, stealing another bite from Maxwell's plate. Hey! It felt dangerously domestic. The four of them around Quentin's small table, kids bickering good-naturedly, coffee brewing, morning sun streaming through windows. We should go, Felicity said suddenly, the moment obviously affecting her too. School. Right. As they gathered their things, Zara pulled on Quentin's hand, making him bend down. I like them, she whispered. Can they come more? We'll see, baby girl. That means no. Please, Daddy. Maxwell's the first friend I've made here who gets me. Quentin looked at his daughter's pleading eyes, then at Maxwell helping Felicity with her coat. The boy so careful, so eager to please. We'll see, he repeated, but softer. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of carefully orchestrated kid playdates, of Quentin and Felicity maintaining safe distances, of pretending the tension between them wasn't threatening to explode. Then Felicity called him at work. I have a favor to ask. Shoot. There's a charity gala Saturday for the Children's Hospital. I'm expected to attend, and I need a +1. Ask one of your rich friends. I'm asking you. Felicity, please, it's for charity, and I want you there. Why? Because I'm tired of going to these things alone. Because Maxwell keeps asking when he'll see Zara again. Because I miss you. Is that what you want to hear? I miss talking to you. I miss how you make me laugh. I miss feeling like myself instead of Felicity Pemberton, CEO. This is a bad idea. Probably. People will talk. Let them. I don't have a tux. I'll handle it. Felicity, please, Quentin. One night. That's all I'm asking. He should say no. Every instinct screamed to say no. What time? 7. I'll send a car. I can drive myself. To the Fairmont Olympic? Where would you park? Good point. Saturday night. Quentin stood in his bedroom wearing a tux that fit perfectly. Of course, Felicity had somehow gotten his measurements right. Zara sat on his bed, watching him struggle with the bow tie. You look handsome, Daddy. Thanks, baby. Are you dating Miss Felicity? No, we're just friends, but you want to date her. What makes you say that? You look at her the way you look at Mom's picture sometimes, all soft and sad. God, his 8-year-old was too observant. It's complicated, sweetheart. Adults always say that when it's really simple. The car Felicity sent was a limousine. Of course. Quentin felt ridiculous climbing in. But then the door opened at the hotel and Felicity stepped out, and every thought fled his mind. She wore a deep blue gown that made her eyes electric. Her hair was up, exposing the neck he used to kiss 17 years ago. She was breathtaking. You clean up nice, detective, she said, but her voice was breathless. You too, CEO. They walked into the ballroom together, and conversation stopped. Quentin was acutely aware of being one of the only black faces in a sea of Seattle's elite, and definitely the only cop. Relax, Felicity murmured, her hand on his arm. You belong here more than any of them. How do you figure? Because you actually help people every day. They just write checks to feel better about their wealth. Including you? Especially me. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. The evening was a blur of introductions. Tech moguls, real estate tycoons, old money families who looked at Quentin like he was either exotic or dangerous. Felicity never left his side, her hand proprietary on his arm, introducing him as Detective Quentin Hayes, who saves lives while we're all counting money. You don't have to defend me, he said during a quiet moment. I'm not defending. I'm bragging. You're the only real person here. You're real? No, I'm not. I'm Felicity Pemberton. The role I've played so long I forgot who Felicity Morgan was. She's still in there. How do you know? Because she still bites her lip when she's nervous, still laughs at bad jokes, still can't eat just one breadstick. She looked at the 3 breadsticks she'd unconsciously taken from the passing waiter and laughed. You remember everything. Everything, he confirmed. And the weight of that word hung between them. The band started playing something slow and romantic. Couples moved onto the dance floor. Dance with me, Felicity said. That's dangerous. Everything about this is dangerous. Dance with me anyway. He led her onto the floor, and 17 years vanished. She still fit perfectly against him, still smelled like jasmine and possibility, still made his heart race. I never danced with Bradley. she said against his shoulder. Not once in 10 years of marriage. Why? Because I only ever wanted to dance with you. Felicity, I know. I know we can't just pick up where we left off. I know I hurt you too badly. I know you have Zara to think about, and I have Maxwell, and our worlds don't fit together. But when you hold me like this, none of that matters. It has to matter. Why? Because I can't survive losing you again. She pulled back to look at him. What if you don't lose me? What if this time I'm brave enough to stay? Before he could answer, someone called her name. Richard Blackstone, chairman of her board, approached with disapproval written across his patrician face. Felicity, interesting choice of companion. Richard, this is Detective Quentin Hayes. Quentin, Richard Blackstone. Richard didn't offer his hand. Detective? How? Unusual. Mr. Blackstone, Quentin replied evenly. I wasn't aware you were dating law enforcement, Felicity. There's a lot you're not aware of, Richard. The board might have concerns. The board can mind its own business. Richard's eyes narrowed. Your father would be appalled. My father was a bigot who died alone because he valued money over people. I'm not making his mistakes. I hope you know what you're doing. For the first time in 17 years, I do. Richard walked away, and Felicity turned back to Quentin. I'm sorry. Don't apologize for him. But this is what I mean, Felicity. Your world isn't worth keeping if it means losing you again. Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. The next morning, the Seattle Times Society page had a field day. Pemberton CEO's surprising date ran with a photo of them dancing, Felicity's head on his shoulder. Quentin's captain called him into his office. Want to explain why you're on the front page with Felicity Pemberton? We're old friends. Looked pretty friendly. Is there a problem, Captain? Not for me, but be careful, Quinn. That's a different world. They eat people like us for breakfast. Meanwhile, Felicity faced her own interrogation from the board. A detective? Richard Blackstone said with disdain. Really, Felicity? His name is Quentin Hayes. He graduated summa cum laude from UW, served with distinction in Iraq, and has the highest case closure rate in Seattle PD. He's also, choose your next words very carefully, Richard, not from our socioeconomic background. You mean he's black and middle class? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Felicity stood. My personal life is not up for board discussion. It is when it affects stock prices. Show me one impact on our stock from my dating life. Dating? So you are dating him? That's none of your business. Felicity, be reasonable. Your father built this company and left it to me. Not you, not the board, me. And I'll run it and live my life as I see fit. She walked out, but her hands were shaking. The confrontation with Richard reminded her too much of her father, of the fight they'd had 17 years ago when she'd told him about Quentin. Her phone buzzed. A text from Quentin. You okay? Saw the paper? Fine. You? Been better. Coffee later? Your place? 5? See you then. When Felicity arrived at Quentin's apartment, Zara let her in. Dad's cooking. He stress cooks. What's he stressed about? You, probably. He really likes you, but he's scared. Of what? That you'll leave again. He doesn't know I heard him talking to Uncle Jerome, but I did. Felicity's heart cracked. I'm not going anywhere. Promise? Zara, what are you telling our guest? Quentin appeared, dish towel over his shoulder. The truth, Zara said simply, then disappeared into her room. Sorry about that. She's honest, like her dad. Felicity moved closer. Are you stress cooking? Maybe. What are you making? Your favorite, chicken marsala. You remember? I told you. I remember everything. Over dinner, Zara and Maxwell had orchestrated a study date that was clearly a setup. They talked around the elephant in the room until Felicity couldn't stand it anymore. The board's not happy? Neither is my captain. So, what do we do? What do you want to do? I want to try. I want to see if what we had is still there. It is. That's the problem. Why is that a problem? Because what we had wasn't enough then. Why would it be enough now? Because I'm different now. I know what I lost. I know what matters. And if your board threatens to remove you, then I'll remind them that I own 43% of the company. And if my captain assigns me to night shift to keep us apart, then I'll adjust my schedule. Felicity. No, listen. 17 years ago, I let fear and other people's opinions drive us apart. I've regretted it every day since. I won't make that mistake again. What about the kids? They adore each other. Zara's the best thing that's happened to Maxwell since the divorce. And if we try and it doesn't work, then at least we'll know. But Quentin, what if it does work? What if we get the life we should have had? He looked at her across his small dining table. This billionaire CEO who'd chosen him once and left him, who was choosing him again despite everything. One condition, he said. Anything. We go slow. For the kids' sake. How slow? Dating slow. Getting to know each other again slow. We were together a year in college, and apart for 17. We're different people now. Okay. Slow. And no more galas for a while. Let's be normal before we're public. Define normal. Parks, pizza, movies, the stuff we used to do. Parks, pizza, movies, the stuff we used to do. I haven't had pizza in 3 years. Then we're definitely starting there. She smiled, that same smile that had captured him 18 years ago in their economics class. So we're doing this? We're trying this. There's a difference. I'll take trying. Dad, you're whistling. Zara observed over breakfast. Am I? You only whistle when you're happy. Is it because Felicity's coming to my recital? Ms. Pemberton, Quentin corrected automatically. She said I could call her Felicity, and Maxwell calls you Quentin. It was true. Over the past 3 months, their lives had slowly intertwined. Friday pizza nights had become a tradition. Saturday park visits were sacred. Sunday dinners alternated between houses, though Felicity had learned not to cook after the pasta incident that required calling the fire department. Are you going to marry her? Zara asked bluntly. Whoa, slow down there, baby girl. It's been 3 months. You love her. She loves you. Maxwell and I already consider ourselves siblings. What's the holdup? It's complicated. Because she's white and rich? Where did you... I'm not blind, Dad. I see how people look at you too. But who cares what they think? Since when did you become so wise? Since you and Felicity started making each other happy? You smile more. She laughs more. We're like a real family. That afternoon at Zara's piano recital, Quentin watched Felicity cheer for his daughter as enthusiastically as she did for Maxwell's violin solo. She'd taken the afternoon off, something the old Felicity never would have done. Her hand found his during Zara's performance, their fingers interlacing naturally. She's brilliant, Felicity whispered. Gets it from her mom and her dad's strength. After the recital, the 4 of them went to Dick's Drive-In. Felicity in her designer dress, eating burgers in the car like a teenager. Maxwell had sauce on his face. Zara was explaining advanced music theory. It was chaos and perfect. Mr. Hayes? A voice interrupted their moment. Quentin turned to find Officer Patricia Wells, one of his colleagues. Pat, hey. Her eyes took in the scene. Felicity, the kids, the obvious family dynamic. Didn't expect to see you here? Just celebrating the kids' recital. Right. Her tone was knowing. See you Monday. After she left, Felicity asked, Problem? Gossip. By Monday, the whole precinct will know. Does that bother you? Does it bother you? Not anymore. 2 weeks later, everything nearly fell apart. Quentin was at work when the call came. Bradley Thornton III, Felicity's ex-husband, was in the lobby demanding to see him. What can I do for you, Mr. Thornton? Quentin asked, professional despite his instincts screaming danger. You can stay away from my family. Your ex-family, you mean. Maxwell is still my son. And I don't want him around you. That's not your call. You have supervised visitation 1 weekend a month, which you've missed the last 3 times. I've been busy. Too busy for your son, but not too busy to interfere in Felicity's life? Bradley's face twisted. You think you've won something? She's slumming, playing out some college fantasy. When she gets bored, and she will, she'll drop you like she did before. That's between us. Is it? What happens to your daughter when Felicity moves on? When Maxwell gets attached and then you disappear? I'm not going anywhere. That's what I thought too. 10 years of marriage, and she never once looked at me the way she looks at you. Do you know how that feels? Knowing your wife is in love with a ghost? That's not my fault. No, but you're here now, aren't you? The noble detective, the first love, the one who got away. You have no idea what you're walking into. Enlighten me. Felicity breaks things. It's what she does. She broke you in college. She broke me during our marriage. She'll break you again. And this time, your daughter will be collateral damage. You don't know her. I was married to her for 10 years and never once saw the real her. Bradley laughed bitterly. The real her? The real her is a woman so afraid of happiness, she sabotages it. Ask her why she really left you. Ask her about the acceptance letter she hid. What acceptance letter? Seattle PD. They had a program for college graduates, fast track to detective. You applied senior year, got in. She never told you. Quentin felt cold. You're lying. Am I? Ask her. That evening, Quentin confronted Felicity at her house after the kids were asleep. Bradley came to see me today. Her face went pale. What did he want? To warn me about you. To tell me about the letter. What letter? The Seattle PD acceptance. Senior year. Felicity's silence was damning. It's true? You hid it from me? Quentin, you hid a letter that would have changed my life. It would have changed our lives. You'd have stayed in Seattle instead of coming to Boston with me. That was my choice to make. I know, okay? It was wrong. It was selfish and wrong, and I've regretted it. You left anyway. You hid the letter and then left anyway. Because I knew if you came to Boston for me, gave up the job for me, you'd resent me. And if you stayed for the job, I'd lose you. So you made sure you'd lose me on your terms. Yes, the honesty of it was brutal. I was 21 and terrified, she continued. Terrified of how much I loved you, terrified of my father, terrified of being ordinary. So I made a terrible choice that I've paid for every day since. And you never thought to tell me? Even now. I tried, 100 times, but I was a coward. Maybe Bradley's right. Maybe you do break things. The words hit her like a physical blow. Maybe I do, but not this, not us, not again. I need time to think. Quentin, I need time. He left her standing in her enormous living room, crying. 3 days of silence. 3 days of Quentin avoiding Felicity's calls, of making excuses to the kids, of trying to process 17 years of what-ifs. On day 4, Zara and Maxwell staged an intervention. You're being stupid, Zara announced, standing in his bedroom doorway with Maxwell beside her. Excuse me? Mom made a mistake, Maxwell added. A big one, but it was 17 years ago. You told them? Quentin asked, shocked. We figured it out, Zara said. You've been moping. Felicity's been crying. It wasn't hard. She cries every night, Maxwell said quietly. Like when Dad left, but worse. This is adult stuff, kids. No, Zara said firmly. This is family stuff, and we're a family, even if you're too stubborn to see it. She lied to me. She was scared, Maxwell defended his mother. Mom does dumb things when she's scared. That's not an excuse. No, Zara agreed. But Dad, you taught me that forgiveness isn't about excusing what someone did. It's about choosing to move forward despite it. When did you become a philosopher? When my dad started throwing away our happiness over an old letter. It's not just a letter. Yes, it is, Maxwell interrupted, showing more backbone than Quentin had ever seen from the quiet boy. It's a piece of paper from almost 20 years ago, and you're letting it matter more than everything we have now. You don't understand. I understand that Mom loves you, Maxwell said. I understand that she smiles now, really smiles. I understand that you make her brave. And Felicity makes you soft, Zara added. In a good way, like you don't have to be Detective Hayes all the time. You can just be Dad. Or Quentin, Maxwell added. The guy who makes pancakes and tells bad jokes and fixes my robot when it breaks. Please, Dad, Zara said. Don't give up on us. On our family, Maxwell corrected. Quentin looked at these two kids, his daughter and the boy who'd somehow become like a son, and felt his anger crumble. You two rehearse this? Maybe, they said in unison, then grinned. Go talk to Mom, Maxwell said. Please. Quentin found Felicity in her office at Pemberton Industries, still working at 9 p.m. She looked up when he entered, hope and fear warring in her eyes. Security let me up, he explained. I told them to. Every night? Every night for 3 days. She looked exhausted, her usual polish gone. She was wearing his old college sweatshirt. the one she'd kept all these years. The kids staged an intervention, he said. Mine too. Maxwell actually yelled at me. He never yells. Zara called me stupid. She's not wrong. Neither is he. They stared at each other across her massive desk. I'm sorry, she said. Not just for the letter, for all of it. For choosing fear over love, for wasting 17 years, for not being brave enough then or now. I'm sorry too. For what? For holding on to anger that doesn't serve us. For punishing you for being human. For almost letting you go again. Again? The kids are right. We're a family. Messy, complicated, but real. Is that enough? It's everything. She stood, moving around the desk. I love you, Quentin Hayes. I loved you at 21, and I love you more at 38. I love how you've raised Zara. I love how you've accepted Maxwell. I love Sunday dinners and Friday pizzas and all the ordinary moments that feel extraordinary because you're there. I love you too. Despite everything. Because of everything. So what now? Now we stop living in the past. We choose the future. Our future. The kids are already planning the wedding. What? She laughed, the first real laugh in days. Apparently Zara wants a winter wedding because she looks good in burgundy. Maxwell wants to know if he can be a groomsman instead of giving me away. They're ridiculous. They're perfect. So are we in our imperfect way. He pulled her close, and 17 years of pain dissolved. They were different people now, scarred, wiser, more cautious. But the love? That had only grown stronger. Marry me, he said against her hair. What? Not now. Not tomorrow. But someday, when we're ready, when the kids have adjusted. Marry me. You're proposing in my office? I proposed in a dorm room 18 years ago. And I said yes then. And now? Still yes. Always yes. The wedding was small. Just family and close friends at Rosie's Cafe, where they'd had their first date. Zara was the maid of honor in burgundy, just as she'd wanted. Maxwell stood as Quentin's best man, proud and serious in his first real suit. I can't believe you're getting married in a diner, Richard Blackstone said, the only board member invited. It's where we began, Felicity said simply. Both times. She'd stepped down as CEO 6 months earlier, taking a consulting role that let her work part-time. The board had fought it until she reminded them that her shares and her strategic vision were more valuable than her daily presence. Besides, she told them, I've spent 17 years building a company. Now I want to build a family. Quentin had made detective lieutenant, a promotion he'd earned entirely on merit. The gossip about him and Felicity had died down when people realized their love story was genuine, not a scandal. Ready? Zara asked Felicity, adjusting her simple white dress. I've been ready for 18 years. That's really cheesy, Mom, Maxwell said, but he was smiling. Mom. He'd started calling her that 6 months ago, the day the adoption papers were finalized. Just as Zara had started calling Quentin Dad instead of just Daddy, making room in her heart for the woman who'd become her bonus mom. As Felicity walked down the makeshift aisle between diner tables, Quentin saw everything. The girl he'd fallen for in college, the woman she'd become, the mother she was to both kids now, the partner she'd proven herself to be. You may kiss the bride, the officiant said, and when they kissed, the whole diner erupted in applause. I love you, she whispered against his lips. Thank you for giving us another chance. Thank you for taking it. Dad, Mom, you're being gross, Zara complained, but she was crying happy tears. Get used to it, Maxwell told her. They're always like this now. Later, as they danced to their song, the same one from college, Felicity asked, any regrets? Just one. What? That it took us 17 years to get here. Maybe we needed those years. To grow up, to become parents, to learn what really matters. Maybe. Or maybe we're just stubborn idiots who finally got it right. That too. They laughed, spinning among their guests, cops and CEOs, billionaires and teachers, 2 kids who'd brought them back together, and a love that had survived 17 years of separation. Can we start here? Felicity asked, echoing another conversation in another life. We already did, Quentin replied, pulling her closer. And this time, we're never stopping.